right, little Alfredo. All right, guys, so the title of the video is true, unfortunately, which is why this segment is even more important. But I wanted to start by telling y'all that right now is the biggest sale in Cuts history. It is officially their 6-year anniversary, which is awesome. And you guys can save anywhere from 25 to 60% off using the code. You don't have to use my link, just please use that code. It would help me out tremendously. So you can get any of the staples that you're seeing on the screen right now. And in addition to the anniversary, it is also their fall collection. So if you wanna come check out some of the new fall colorways, as y'all know, Cuts always kills the colors. This is actually one of my personal favorites. Same thing I'm wearing right now, except this is long sleeve. I think the Henley is a really nice look. But whatever you're looking for, you guys can see they've got some very quality clothing. It's my favorite clothes in the entire world. It's really all that I wear. And these AO joggers right here are the best pants in the world. It's a perfect fit. It makes you look bigger than you actually are. It holds up, plus women really like it. So hit that link. Biggest sale of the year. So let's talk about the video title, and if it makes you feel any better, my boss and my boss's boss and everyone that I work with see the exact same video title that you do and are equally as curious, but it's true, I did get fired. All right, let's get it over with. I got fired from Movement, who, if you've been on this channel, has been paying me for the last 5 years to promote their products. Now, before you get mad that I didn't get fired from my actual job that allows me to support my family, seems like an odd reason to be mad. Let me just explain. So Movement sent me an email last week saying that they're gonna have to cancel my contract for the rest of the year because of economic reasons, the recession, you know, everything that's going on in the world, which is quite unfortunate. So I figured if I'm gonna lose thousands and thousands of dollars, at least I could get a good YouTube video title. So even more important than my video title, I think there's some lessons we can all learn from this. And I do wanna start by saying no hard feelings to Movement at all. I still love their products. I still highly recommend them. Watches and glasses, both at an incredible price. I think you can still use my code. If not, there's plenty of other codes to save 15%. So thank you to everyone who's purchased them over the last few years. But I'm sure we all know people that are being impacted by the economic downturn already. So the first tip I'm gonna have for you is turn off the news. Nobody knows what they're talking about. I mean, look at this.
We believe we're in a recession. 2 consecutive quarters of real GDP declines is the beginning of that definition.
The textbook definition of recession is not 2 negative quarters of GDP.
So a bit contradictory, right? And I don't even know who that last woman is, but clearly she's not too bright. I mean, if you're gonna try to change a definition to gaslight all of these people into thinking something's not actually happening, that's happening right in front of us, I mean, I don't know anyone in their right mind that would believe what she just said. But, you know, that doesn't matter. All that really matters is people's lives are being negatively impacted right now, and it's a very sensitive time, so I did wanna share 3 tips that I do think will help everyone in the long run. Number 1 is that being liked isn't enough. Everyone at Movement liked me. My agency that I work through, they liked me a lot. We had a great working relationship for a number of years, but I really only have 2 main sponsors, and that is PE Science and Cuts. And with both of those, I consider myself an A player. I do very well for those brands. It's a very, very mutually beneficial relationship. Whereas Movement, I would consider myself more of a C player. I probably didn't add as much value to them as I do my 2 main sponsors. So when things like this happen and they have to make cuts, it was probably an obvious choice just to get rid of someone like me that may not be providing enough of an ROI. So I think it's a perfect time for all of us to really evaluate how much value are we bringing to our roles, because there's so much uncertainty in every single industry. And if it was me, I just wouldn't want to leave it up for chance, especially if it was my main source of income. And it really can't even be to the point where you're just kind of breaking even. It has to be you're adding so much value that the thought of letting you go wouldn't even go through someone's mind. And before we go on to number 2, it's also really important take a breath, don't freak out. The world is not ending, and if you think that it is, it's probably because you didn't listen to me in the beginning of the video when I told you to stop watching the news. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever received was don't listen to anything that the news says, because their job is not to educate you, it's to entertain you and get ratings. And when you think about it like that, it's a conflict of interest, but you know what? That's just the way the world is. Now, are all of us going to feel a little bit of pain? Yeah. Probably so, unfortunately, but what do you expect when you have incompetence running the country? And that is not a political statement, because this administration isn't the only one. Last administration was incompetent as well. I mean, you have varying levels of incompetence, of course, but that's just the government. By the way, this is the Cuts Overtime tee. It's my new favorite shirt that they just released. It is included in the sale. Heavyweight cotton. Absolutely love it. Now, with that said, I do believe having the ability to sell something makes you a bit more resilient in downturns, but I won't get into that in this video. Now, for tip number 2, it's going to be have a contingency plan. And it doesn't even have to be economy driven. This could happen to anyone at any time, whether that be maybe a disability or an injury prevents you from working ever again. I think about this all the time. What if I could never work another day in my life? What would I do? Because that doesn't change the fact that I still have a family to provide for. So I try not to put all my eggs in one basket, and I live below my means for this reason. But I think it's a really important exercise to go through, because, you know, there's a lot of bad things that can happen throughout the course of our lives. And for me, I just want to make sure I always have a plan in place that makes sure my family is protected. So if you can sit back, think about those things, I think you're going to be much more prepared for anything that is about to come our way. And I understand that was pretty generic, and I didn't give you any tactical advice on how to actually make that plan, but everyone's scenario is just so much different. So I think it's going to come down to mostly soul searching. But at a high level, I would say, hey, you probably shouldn't have all your money in Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Now, number 3 might not be as much of a tip, maybe more of a best practice, or maybe even a request, but that is show empathy. Over the next 6 to 12 to 18, 24 months, whatever that time span might be, there's gonna be a lot of difficult situations for so many different people, and you never know what someone is going through. And I believe we could all be better about this and just helping out one another. And I know that it still seems that everyone just hates one another because they don't see eye to eye on the same principles. And I do believe a lot of that is driven from fear and pain. So if we can just be more empathetic to our fellow citizens, everyone will be better for it. And if you're still in this notion like, hey, I need, what's in it for me, right? Well, I have found from my experience that if you are empathetic towards others, you will receive it back tenfold, because we're all gonna need it at some stage. And I'm a big believer in karma. So if you're able to lend a helping hand, then do it. If we can all come together, I know this isn't gonna be like a big kumbaya overnight, but I'm pretty sure that the people watching this video, we all are kind of on the same page, and we know that if we help one another out, we will all get through it together. I haven't even told the people about our exciting week with the baby.
Oh, it's been a beautiful week.
We might have to sit down and talk about that one.
We might have to.
But will you repeat what you just said to me?
This might be my favorite cuts. It's like a heavyweight, thick t-shirt with a high neck.
Heavy cotton.
Distressed.
It's great. What's up, buddy? Hey, the people miss you. They want to see you, little Alfred. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have tacos on the menu tonight, and all this is the carne asada roast from Trader Joe's. Megan just put it in the crock pot. Turns out so well. Highly, highly recommend. And the Trader Joe's corn is amazing. Taste test time. You nervous?
No, it's really good.
Mm-hmm. The number one thing I miss about living in Austin is the tacos, but I'll tell you what, give them a run for their money. All right, baby update. Bring them back to last month.
So we had our 20-week anatomy scan. Baby was measuring 11th percentile, so right on the cusp of potentially growth restricted. And they couldn't get good images of his heart. And they diagnosed us with what they call a 2-vessel cord or a single umbilical artery. So there are some complications with that. I will not dive into them.
There's a lot.
But we were referred to a high-risk doctor. But our appointment wouldn't have been until 4 weeks. So
Which
up
was
until
this
that
Tuesday.
point, yeah, we didn't really know anything besides we're gonna have to see how his heart looks, see if he's grown any, and hopefully just make sure that single umbilical artery wasn't causing any other issues.
So then we go to the specialist on Tuesday, and then ultimately, they're like, oh, they just got it wrong. None of that was actually factual.
Yeah, so they misdiagnosed us.
Unbelievable.
And he has grown, so he's in the 23rd percentile.
Yeah.
So he's not on the cusp of being growth restricted, he's just small. And the tech said that his heart looked perfect, so.
But if you've noticed for the last month, if we've been just like a nervous wreck, all because they didn't know how to read the test. Crazy. Well, obviously, it's the best news we could have gotten, but.
Yeah, I'm not focusing on that part.
Yeah.
I'm just focusing on.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yep. We got 2 good boys, actually. So with everything going on in the last month, unfortunately, training has not been a very high priority, so I need to kick it back into gear here. But weekends always are a little bit better than the week when I'm in here so early in the morning. But I do try to incentivize myself, give me something to look forward to every single day. So I always have my P Science protein bar at the end of my workouts ready to go. This thing tastes like a peanut butter cup. Just check this out. It is so good. So sometimes you just need a little mind trick to get you through your workout. So if I feel myself getting a little bit sluggish towards the end of the workout, I'll have this help push myself, make sure I don't leave any reps on the table. But this is so good. You guys know Code Travis saves 10%. So Sunday tradition, we'll get Alfie some ice cream, and then for me, Megan will always make me a grilled ham and cheese. So delicious. The reason I like it is because it tastes great, it's fast, it's cheap, and you can eat it at home, and I just look forward to it every weekend. Back in the day, my favorite exercise was the bench press because I wanted to tell my bros about how much weight I could lift, and as I get older, things shift a little bit, and nowadays, my favorite exercise is just going for a walk. And I think it's something that every single person on this earth should be doing because I believe that it is one of the best forms of exercise regardless of your fitness level, but also being able to just go outside and think. Not looking at your phone, not having an agenda, just being able to let your brain kind of run free for a little bit, I think has so many possible benefits. And that is one of the reasons I did not really like living in Ohio where it was so cold the majority of the year, or at least I felt that it was. So warmer weather climates definitely work a little bit better for me, but regardless of where you live, you got a treadmill, you got a gym, you could just suck it up in the cold, whatever it is that you have to do. So if you're watching this right now, just get up, go for a walk, 5-10 minutes. I promise you, you'll feel great. Cauliflower ganache from Trader Joe's, one of the best foods that you can buy at the grocery store. Make pasta with this, or really any kind of dish. What do you think, camera wife?
It's good.
So good. Highly recommend. If I ever had a restaurant, I think I would call it goulash and ganache. It would pretty much be all dishes just like this. And that's gonna be the end of the video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch. You could have been doing anything in the entire world, and you chose to spend a few minutes with me. That is pretty awesome. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I look forward to talking to y'all next time.